everyone, and welcome to our SESI Talks. Today, we're really happy to have Ms. Svenja Han, MEP. Thank you very much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
And our SESI Talks are part of the WEEP projects, Workers and the European Parliament. And we want to tackle all of the big themes that are part of the world of work, and especially bring the attention, the actions of the European Parliament, and making them known to the citizens and to the workers, letting them know how the actions that are taken at the European level do have a huge impact on our lives. And let's start with a very interesting topic. We know that technology has made huge advancements, but today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. You are part of the Committee on the Artificial Intelligence. So what are the challenges for the European Union in this field?
I think when we talk about setting a regulatory framework for artificial intelligence, there needs to be two goals. First, tapping the potential of artificial intelligence for our citizens, and second, limiting the risk or addressing those challenges. And when we're talking about tapping potential, I'm of course talking about how can we better our industrial production, how can we boost healthcare and science, but also some very practical aspects, smart home, how we can make technology to the use of us and make our everyday life and well-being easier. But when we're talking about limiting risk and challenges, there are obviously some challenges that are arising, such as the black box effect, where we do not know what is happening, the complexity, but also the dependency on data, and what kind of risk there might be if data is not good and is maybe repeating discrimination.
Exactly. So obviously we're talking about privacy policies as well. So what initiatives should we expect from the EU?
Currently, the Commission put forward one legislative proposal, which is a horizontal regulation, which should set a general legislative framework for artificial intelligence, starting with the risk-based approach. So it's not taking a look at the technology, but the actual use of technology. For example, face recognition on my phone is convenient for unlocking it, but face or biometric recognition in public sphere is a whole other risk to civil rights and civil liberties. So we're expecting this general horizontal approach, and additional, we're going to see some specific updates where it's needed for the special characteristics of artificial intelligence. But in many aspects, we do not need to reinvent the wheel. We already have legislation in place. When we take a look at consumer protection, for example, then we just need some specific updates.
Great. And exactly, talking on the ethical aspects of artificial intelligence, robotics, and more related in the technology spheres, how can we ensure that technology will serve European citizens in a socially fair and especially sustainable way?
I think it's really important that artificial intelligence needs to be applied in a human-centric way. It needs to serve people, not to replace them. It's very important that we have a non-discriminatory starting point. Not discriminating, for example, against women, against people of color. For example, if we're taking a look at job application software, if you only feed it with data that only knows male CEOs, it's only going to suggest to you male candidates for a new CEO position. So we also have to ensure that European legislation will follow ethical principles, but also that we have a good set of data, that we have clear criteria how we can prevent that existing stereotypes are repeated, because technology can only be as good as we make it, because it's up to us as humans to change and steer this process of change, because it's up to us to shape the change.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. The question is on how we actually want to use the technology. Ms. Han, thank you very much for this interview. It was really nice talking to you, and let's hope we can maybe chat on another time to have a little update on our SESI Talks. And thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and it's so important to talk about artificial intelligence.